Welcome to the Horizon Audiofiles, a podcast of the Defense Horizon Journal. The Defense Horizon Journal is a professional and academic journal that features essays, reports, and analyses covering geopolitics and law, security and defense policy, peace and conflict studies, applied military science, as well as developments in weapons technology. For more information, go to www.tdhj.org.
Episode number 75. European Security and Defense College. Our network is our strength. By Fergal O. Regan. Introduction. The European Security and Defense College, ESDC, is celebrating its 20th anniversary this year. In addition to the celebrations taking place in November, this milestone offers a unique opportunity for reflection. It was founded with the innovative idea of pooling common, or, at the time rather, European, Security and Defense Policy, CSDP, training resources, for the benefit of all. From only 8 courses in 2005, the college has grown steadily to offer more than 150 courses annually. In addition to delivering courses together with its highly valued network, the scope of the ESDC's activities has expanded in line with the needs of member states and union structures. Before delving deeper into the analysis, it is important to reflect on the last 2 years. In the context of the war of aggression against Ukraine, the heightened tensions on Europe's eastern flank, the evolving dynamics of European security and defense, and the EU's global role in strengthening international security through missions and operations, it has become evident that CSDP training and education are more vital than at any other time in the existence of the ESDC. Aligning with member states' strategic priorities and advancing EU policies. All training delivered by the European Security and Defense College must, in a targeted, flexible, and timely manner, respond to the training-related strategic needs of the member states. Over the past years, the ESDC has made remarkable progress in this direction. The ESDC has increased the flexibility of its training efforts, enabling a swift response not only to the priorities of the member states, but also to the evolving needs of the European Union and its CSDP missions and operations. This adaptability, anchored in the expertise and diversity of our network's institutions, is one of the ESDC's key strengths and has proven essential in a global context where strategic requirements can shift quickly. Another cornerstone of this responsiveness is the intrinsic linkage between the training community and the member states within the ESDC steering committee. This is where needs, visions, and ideas converge, enabling effective coordination. This constructive relationship has given rise to important projects, such as the European Higher Military Education (EU) War Colleges Initiative and the Configuration on Climate Change, Environment, Security, and Defense. Both illustrate how shared priorities can be translated into tangible, forward-looking training concepts. The latest Council decision governing the ESDC, adopted in December 2024, further strengthens this dynamic. It establishes a significantly closer link between the Council and the ESDC, most clearly visible in both the new reporting requirements and the possibility for the ESDC to receive strategic guidance from the Council. CSDP rests in the hands of the member states, and this closer connection allows us to align more effectively with their strategic needs. Operational details are where the highly knowledgeable academic board comes into play. Its unique strength lies in the vast network of more than 270 training institutions from across the member states and beyond. No other body but the ESDC can draw on such an unparalleled pool of expertise. The ESDC can proudly say that within its network it counts the best heat training institutions, the leading grand strategy experts, renowned maritime security centers, world-class cyber security institutions, and specialists in security sector reform, climate change and security, and many more. In addition, most military academies, war colleges, and their equivalents in the member states contribute actively to the ESDC's work. This body of expertise is continuously evolving, as the ESDC actively embraces fresh perspectives and new partners. What makes the difference is that, together with the strategic guidance provided by the member states, this depth of expertise, even reaching down to the micro level, shapes the course on which we are sailing. Today, the ESDC is closer than ever to the guidance of the member states, and it combines this with the wellspring of knowledge that comes from those working directly on CSDP training and education as trainers and experts in their daily practice. Equally important is the ESDC's continued working relationship with the European External Action Service, EEAS. The institutional landscape of the CSDP is complex, and the ESDC's role has at times required clarification. Within the framework of the new Council decision, we have been able to establish pragmatic solutions to questions of responsibility and guidance. Finally, the ESDC plays its part in delivering on the EU's key strategic documents, such as the Strategic Compass, the Civilian CSDP Compact, the Niinistö Report, highlighting the importance of training, the European Preparedness Union Strategy, the Joint White Paper for European Defence Readiness 2030, as well as implementing the relevant policies, notably the EU policy on training for CSDP and its implementing guidelines. The ESDC is increasingly consulted in policy formulation and is in constant contact with all partners involved. The strategic, policy, and legal framework provides a solid foundation for the ESDC's future. I look forward to continuing to engage regularly with the member states and union bodies, ensuring that we can respond flexibly to their needs. Flexibility is enhanced by not having exhaustive task lists in our Council decision anymore, which could limit our ability to adapt and act swiftly. Training for tomorrow: how innovative are we, and how far can we grow? The core of the ESDC's training lies in its in-person courses. This format enables the ESDC to deliver the depth of knowledge we aim to achieve, while at the same time creating opportunities for networking across borders and institutions. It brings together those who ensure readiness and safeguard security and freedom at a time of heightened tensions. However, in-person training is not a static undertaking. It must be continually developed and improved. The ESDC training program is structured into thematic configurations, dealing, for example, with cyber, security sector reform, or mission-oriented training, to name only a few. While this is a good setup and mainly served the setup of the ESDC in the past, the ESDC does not fully exploit the potential of these configurations and all the synergies between them. This structure dates back to a time when ESDC's academic board could still meet around a single table. Today, to accommodate the entire network, that table would need more than 270 chairs, exceeding the seating capacity of 22 of the 27 EU member states' respective national lower chambers or their single-chamber equivalents. This underlines the importance of the configurations and the valuable forums for exchange they provide. The vision is to shift courses currently outside of any configuration inside existing configurations or some that would need to be newly created. Like this, the support both the ESDC network and the Secretariat could provide to these courses regularly would be maximized, be it through peer review, the implementation of quality assurance mechanisms, policy input, lessons learned from training in partnering international organizations, to only name a few. Moreover, focusing on horizontal issues and overall coherence, one should complement these configurations with cross-cutting ones. To fully meet the great expectations, creating such synergies is essential. Greater exchange between subject matter experts from diverse fields will enable the ESDC not only to improve training activities but also to continue setting standards. The ESDC's Ukrainian partners must play a central role in this process. Standardization and quality control. Experience has shown that focused, specialized groups within the ESDC's configurations are particularly effective in revising curricula, setting common standards and having an open debate on current developments in their field, thanks to their inherent peer review processes and expertise. Their regular meetings provide an excellent platform to incorporate lessons learned, reflect evolving EU policy dynamics, and draw on the expertise of strategic partners. In this way, the ESDC ensures that training remains coherent with wider EU policies while also maintaining the highest level of quality. Going forward, at least one cross-cutting configuration should also address overarching issues such as innovative training methods, thereby promoting standardization across the entire spectrum of ESDC activities. The work of the Working Group on Missions and Operations Training, WGMOT, on the standardization of heat, hostile environment awareness training, is living proof of this approach. A small group of dedicated subject matter experts collaborated to develop a standard that not only guarantees the highest quality of training but also directly helps keep mission staff safe, enabling authorities sending staff to medium and high-risk areas to comply with their duty of care. The goal is to take this example and apply it wherever standardization is required. At the same time, standardization is not a self-serving cause. In Varietate Concordia also applies to the ESDC. It is the ESDC's strength that the same course, for example, on maritime security, will be shaped somewhat differently depending on whether it is delivered in Tallinn or Madrid, reflecting distinct regional challenges. These diverse perspectives enrich the training. Through the ESDC's configurations and curricula, the ESDC ensures that core standards and content remain consistent across borders, yet it should not suppress the value of regional adaptation. Varietas has a value in itself. Where standardization makes sense, such as with heat, the ESDC will continue to follow the principle of subsidiarity. On a higher level, the variety in the ESDC also reflects the broadness of the ESDC's mandate. It spans training and education for member states and union administrations in general, for actors enhancing the union's defense readiness, and in support of CSDP missions and operations. It also includes cooperation with like-minded partners, including countries as well as regional and international organizations. The goal is to strengthen and expand the ESDC's configuration so that they serve as effective forums of exchange required for both standardization and quality control. Rigid concepts imposed from above are not conducive to success in practice and would only lead to frustration. The ESDC's network is its most valuable asset, and the aim is to continue drawing fully on its potential. One of the ESDC's most recently established configurations, the European Higher Military Education (EU) War Colleges Initiative, is another excellent example of effective standardization where it makes sense. The newly developed common module, which is already being implemented, is a real success story. The mobility and exchange of senior officers and lecturers enabled by this initiative contribute to building a common understanding of the common security and defense policy, foster the sharing of best practices, enhance interoperability among our armed forces, and strengthen the development of a common European strategic culture. E-learning. Training does not take place only in the analog world. Over the years, the ESDC has built up a broad e-learning catalogue. Yet this brings us back to the reality that the ESDC is a very small body with limited resources. In the past, producing e-learning units required the effort of an entire team. The mix of text and video-based learning normally demands a small film crew, subject matter experts, e-learning specialists, IT professionals, and graphic designers. With the ESDC's limited resources, this was simply not sustainable. While much of the content expertise fortunately comes from ESDC's network, implementation has long posed a heavy burden. The answer has been innovation. By introducing state-of-the-art text-to-film software, the ESDC has been able to drastically reduce the person-hours required for the creation and updating of an e-learning unit. This has not only enabled the ESDC to explore new areas for e-learning, but also to keep the catalogue up to date. As with any organization of a certain maturity, the ESDC must critically assess what remains relevant and remove what no longer meets that standard. In its e-learning work, this meant consolidating the number of units from 44 to 23, merging content and reorganizing structures. This streamlining ensures quality and clarity while excluding the specialized set of cyber e-learning units, which remain a category of their own. The ESDC and global partnerships for a stronger Europe. The mission of the ESDC has always had a global outlook. For many years, the ESDC has cooperated with partners around the world to advance common interests. Its courses represent tangible cooperation with concrete results that build trust, while also enabling mutual learning. To regard the ESDC only as a training enabler would be to drastically underestimate the impact. Joint training serves as an effective entry point, not only for building trust but also for opening the door to more substantive cooperation with like-minded partners in other domains. Through such activities, the ESDC acts as a diplomatic tool, supporting both the Union and its member states in strengthening global and strategic security and defense partnerships. Maintaining and further developing these meaningful partnerships is a key priority for me. Looking ahead, the ESDC can also harvest these partnerships even more by further differentiating the approach related to potential associate network partners, i.e. training institutes, from third countries and more strategic partners, such as UN offices and NATO structures, NDC, or countries with whom the Union has concluded security and defense partnerships. In this way, the ESDC will remain firmly anchored in EU policies while staying closely aligned with the strategic needs of the member states. The ESDC and Ukraine, shaping support and deepening our learning. Before Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, Ukraine was already a valued partner of the ESDC. However, the urgency and intensity created by that invasion have compelled the ESDC to further intensify its efforts in and with Ukraine. Since 2020, approximately 700 Ukrainians have participated in the ESDC's diverse training programs, ranging from cyber training and security sector reform to the exchange program under the European Initiative for the Exchange of Young Officers, inspired by Erasmus, Emilio, and much more. At present, 14 of Ukraine's most important security and defense training institutions are part of ESDC's network, underlining the significance of this cooperation. The ESDC is proud of what it has achieved so far together with the Ukrainian partners and its network members in advancing training in and for Ukraine. Nevertheless, the ESDC can contribute even more. At the same time, it is not only Ukraine that benefits from this cooperation. The lessons learned and the vast pool of knowledge Ukraine has acquired across all areas of security and defense, including the civilian dimension, offer a depth of insight that no other country can match. Efforts to consolidate lessons learned in cooperation with Ukraine should be transformed into a more structured and institutionalized process. While insights derived from the armed forces remain indispensable, the inclusion of civilian perspectives is equally crucial, underscoring the value of an integrated approach. Lessons must therefore be systematically captured across multiple domains, encompassing cyber and hybrid threats, the protection of critical infrastructure, civilian resilience and protection, the security of energy and health systems, as well as the countering of foreign information manipulation and interference within the framework of strategic communication, intelligence, and related areas. Configurations, and potentially a dedicated specialized configuration, should remain central to this endeavor. These platforms uniquely bring together academics, practitioners, representatives of public administrations, and members of the security forces, thereby creating a genuine forum for exchange. The systematic integration of Ukrainian lessons learnt into such forums represents a critical step towards fostering synergy and mutual learning. A message to ESDC's network. The vision for the ESDC is guided by a central leitmotif: the strength of the network is its greatest asset. The success of the college relies fundamentally on the active engagement of its members, whose contributions underpin the Union's efforts in common security and defense policy, CSDP, training. The overarching objective is to further coordinate and enhance the growing role of this network, facilitating the exchange of knowledge and expertise while simultaneously enabling members to acquire invaluable new insights. Through this collaborative framework, the network is equipped to address emerging challenges with targeted, EU-wide training initiatives. Under renewed leadership, new forums for cooperation and synergy will be established, creating pathways for deeper mutual learning and continuous development. 2 decades after its inception, much has evolved, and adaptation remains ongoing. However, one principle endures unchanged: the strength of the network continues to be the foundation of the ESDC's success, past, present, and future. The author, Fergal O'Regan, is a senior EU civil servant and academic, currently head of the European Security and Defence College, ESDC, which provides training in the EU's common security and defence policy. Before joining the ESDC in 2023, he was chief legal expert and head of unit at the European Ombudsman. He lectured at the College of Europe from 2012 to 2022 and holds law degrees from Aix-Marseille, Deusto, and the College of Europe. He is admitted to the bar in Bilbao and Brussels. The views contained in this article are the author's alone.
This was the Horizon Audiofiles, a podcast of the Defense Horizon Journal. For more information, go to www.tdhj.org. Thank you for listening.